Good morning. What the politicians do is to and the purpose is twofold. One is to divert the attention of the people from the misgovernance and exploitation. And second is to reward your followers, your acolytes. And for that purpose, non-governmental organizations are formed. So there is an unholy nexus between the political leaders, a very compliant bureaucracy, and so-called public-spirited non-governmental organizations and charitable organizations, which are dime a dozen. We have talked about these charitable organizations. On 87% of the money given to them is spent by them on themselves and not for the purpose the money is given. And so, a normal event, a normal occurrence where you cannot affect is blown out of proportions, and a Frankenstein is created, a horrid picture is created. People are terrified, and then you start dumping money. Climate change was one of them. Global warming was one of them. I have always been saying so, and now, just a few days back, a major scientist, John J. Bates, former head of the National Ocean and Atmospheric Administration, came out as a whistleblower, and he showed how the facts had been distorted, data had been cooked, and based on this data, the so-called much wanted, much praised agreement was signed in Paris. The whole base of the agreement was a report by NOAA, National Oceanic Atmospheric Administration. And that report, as revealed by Bates, who was the director and head of that institution, shows not only flaws, but was cooked up and therefore the whole thing is suspect. The report claimed, given to the Paris government, that earlier, in 1998, it was seen that there was a pause in global warming. But this pause was overruled by the political leaders, because if there was a pause in global warming, that means that all this fear being generated about global warming would not be sustainable. Therefore, this pause on global warming, which has been there since 1998, till today, was supposed to be suppressed, and unverified misleading data was incorporated. The exact words used are blatant attempt to intensify the impact. Now, this is shocking. As a matter of fact, in 2009, the UN Climate Summit had revealed that thousands of the emails between the climate scientists had been leaked. They had suggested manipulated and hidden data. And these experts at the very influential climatic research unit and the University of East Anglia were asked to do the needful, and they did it. Based on this wrong data, $100 billion is given every year as climate aid. 2 degrees Celsius is the maximum temperature rise above the pre-industrial time, and 320 billion pounds are the UK pledge. Other countries are different. Now imagine what they did was, the whole thing was based on 2 sets of data. One was containing the measurements of temperature on the Earth's surface, and the other was measuring the temperature on the sea, the surface of the sea. According to the real picture that has come now, both the figures, the surface on the land and temperature on the land and the temperature on the sea, they were flawed. As a matter of fact, the reality is that the temperature of both on the land and on the sea was much lower, and the rate was much slower. What they have been saying, that increase is 1.5 degree, 2 degree, is actually 0.003 degree. Now there was there was a bug planted in the software, and all the readings, all the findings became unstable. So the whole subset of the material presented was based on alpha version of data, which was never verified. Now people might say that Dr. Bates has some personal reason for coming up. Let's know who the guy is. As I said, he was till recently the head of the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Unit. He was awarded special gold medal by President Obama for setting up new binding standards to produce and preserve climate data record. So the people who have been promoting global warming have rewarded him for his honesty and his integrity. So the fact that he is revealing today cannot be challenged. Now let's see the blockbuster report, which was given by the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, headed by Dr. Jinder Pachuri. They were awarded a Nobel Prize, as I told you earlier, and then they admitted that their whole report was wrong based on miscalculation, and the melting in Himalayas is minuscule. The exact word I'll read out. There is a much smaller increasing trend in the past 15 years, from 1998 to 2012, than over the past 30 to 60 years. So when the industry was not very high, global warming was much more. And when industrialization is increasing, global warming is comparatively less. So all this scare, all this fear mongering has been done with an ulterior purpose. Now come to that. They also say, and this is not my report, this is a report of the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, IPCC, is a UN organization. They have read, there is a pause in global warming, there is a slowdown of global warming, and as such, compared to the last 60 years, in the last 15 years, if there are 2 blocks, these 15 years have shown a visible slowing down of the global warming. Now imagine the pause paper, there was a pause, says that the global warming 1950 to 1999 was 0.113 centigrade per decade. So in 10 years, 0.1 degree centigrade was the global warming. And it reduces further. From 2000 to 2004, it was 0.116 degree centigrade per decade. So the pause is there, the slowing down is there. Why this hullabaloo, why this noise? Now again, he further says, he calls it a science bomb. He says that extended reconstructed sea surface temperature were just 0.036 degree per decade. Just 0.03 degrees centigrade, that's it. The 0.03 degrees centigrade in one decade in a period of 10 years. It's not 1 day. It's not 1 day. But spread over 10 years, 0.03 degrees centigrade is absolutely imaginable. And individual readings, if you see, they have increased by maximum of 0.1 degree centigrade over 10 years. And they were saying increase of 2 degrees, 1.5 degree. You see, if you look at it, the whole thing has been constructed to create a fear. Now again, there are two types of data. One is you put the buoys in the ocean and the buoys give the data. Other is the sea, ocean, ships go there and collect the data. Now the buoys are much closer to the water, so they give the correct data. But what they did was, they accepted the data from the ships, which was, I would say, manipulated. It was what they said, corrected data. The reading from the buoys was 0.01, but it was made 0.12. So even then it's 0.1 only, not 1 point something. So then it has been found that the past temperature has been cooler than what thought, and the total increase in the land temperature was from 0.15 to 0.16. And that's in 1 decade, in 10 years, not in 1 year. So if an increase is 0.1 degree centigrade in 10 years, where is a big bugbear? Why this fear is sought to be created? The whole thing is fraught with that. And now comes the crucial part. He says that he was forced to correct it. 18 months after the paper was published, Mr. Carl, the chief scientific advisor, and John Holdren, who had a direct hotline to the White House, summoned the scientists, told them that this data cannot be accepted because all the political decisions that have been taken are proposed to be taken would not be taken. So 97%, it has to be shown that 97% scientists agree that there is a global warming, so the things were cooked up. And the result is the much praised Paris Climate Conference, the decisions to disburse billions of dollars to your followers and acolytes. And those billions of dollars come from your pocket and from my pocket, from the people's pocket. This is the worst possible scam perpetrated by the helpless scientists and the orders of the political leadership and very compliant bureaucracy. Unfortunately, while the top scientists have been included and they were the first to get the things changed, the majority of the scientists thought that because these scientists are saying it, there must be some facts. As a matter of fact, the whole thing is very clearly proved once again that they are lies, damn lies, and statistics. And when that statistics is cooked, manipulated, it becomes worse. The whole fear being generated was basically an attempt to create a sense of uncertainty, that you do not question their political actions, that you do not question their economic decisions on one side, and the second was to reward their followers from picking the pockets of the poor, innocent people. And you as victims of this massive financial rape, coupled with intellectual rape, felt not only helpless, but became compliant. You are willing to be raped. Wake up, my friends. Wake up to the reality. It's already getting late because you are still asleep. There is a need to be sure that property is for sale, that you cannot depend on anything, as these whistleblowers are showing, and you are victims of your belief and your trust, victims of your credulity. Get rid of it. Thank you.